All right. Can somebody comment and let me know if they can hear me, please? Hi. Hello, everyone. If someone can just comment if they can hear me, please. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to see if I'm doing this right. I think I did the invite. We'll see if it worked. Wait up. Okay, I think I sent the invite, so we'll see. Give her a couple seconds. Hopefully it worked. Oh, I'm seeing Twitter people. Hi, Logan. Hi.
Hi, how
How
are
are
you?
you? This is crazy. I thank you so much for doing this. Thank you,
No,
thank
I'm
you.
happy to. We should also explain how all this came to be. But yes, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
Um,
it's literally a month from today.
is it
Like,
exactly a month?
yeah, yeah.
Well, I feel like that's a good time. I feel like things take so much longer these days, so I'm glad we can make it work so quickly.
No, your team was on top of it. Do you want me to explain what happened, or do you want to explain it?
Please, you go.
Okay, so I purchased one of the 5-minute Zooms that were for the con that got canceled that you couldn't make it to, and my family bought tickets and then gave me all the tickets so I could have the time with Danielle alone. And I asked her, and she was so gracious and said that she would. She told me who to connect with, and here we are a month later. So
Yeah,
um,
so
I
happy.
just I can't thank you. And I just want to let you know before we get into like the questions I had, how many comments and messages I've gotten, just, that it's kind of around mental health as a whole, right? And
Yep.
just how much it means to everyone that you're willing to sit down and talk about it, and just because we don't as a society.
Yes.
And so I've gotten so many thank yous. And um, I mean, your fandom is very real and alive. Um, from the moment I posted the thing, it was just like my inbox was like ding 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 with like, tell her I love her, tell her it's my birthday, tell her. Somebody was like, if she says hi everyone, I will sob. So somebody wants you to say hi everyone.
But don't sob. Hi, everyone, and happy
Yeah,
birthday to whoever's birthday it is out there.
it's Abby. She said you
Abby.
know her from London, Abby and
Yeah,
Nicole.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, Paris. Yeah.
Hi,
So her
Abby. It's her
yeah,
birthday.
on Thursday. So she's sad because
I
she
don't even know
told you
what day
that
today is. Today's
she
Monday.
told.
Monday.
Yeah, she told you that she said that you told her this episode is really intense on Thursday. And so like on her birthday, she's sad that
I
it's
remember.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, tell her
So,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone. This is just, I'm sure everyone's feeling it this season. But yeah, emotional roller coaster. But yes, happy early birthday, Abby, and I'm sorry for Thursday.
well, and I mean we're so early into this season, but it's so just you're acting. Wow, like you have been the way you can bring our emotions into Maya, because we're seeing, Maya's always been kind of strict, stern, right? The athlete who's got to get things done and in
Yeah.
her way. But we're just seeing such a different side of Maya. And it's just an attribute to your acting. I mean, phenomenal. You've been so amazing.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks so much for
yeah,
saying that.
yeah. And of course, when we're talking about mental health, which is
Yep.
obviously what Maya's going through,
Yeah.
is,
I go through it too.
yeah,
We all do.
it's
Yeah.
just weird knowing you as a character and now knowing you as a person, trying to keep those apart. So,
Yeah. It happens with my friends sometimes too. Or on
yeah,
set. They're like, do you mind if I call you Matt? I was like, call me whatever.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Um, So I had to write down the questions because I'm so nervous. So if I look away, I'm sorry. I'm
Don't
looking
even
up the
worry about
questions.
it. Look whatever you need to look at. Go for it.
And I'm new to interviewing, so you're only my second interview. And
I saw.
being being who it is, like that it's you, my family has been like, this is your only second venue, and you landed her like from stage 19. And I'm like, she was just so kind enough I didn't expect you to say yes. So
You were so kind. And just to make like add on to what you said and how this came to be, your family didn't just buy you the tickets. They were on the 5 minute Zoom with you. And I was, for anyone that was on those 5 minute Zooms, I was trying because it was it 5 minutes total or 15 minutes, like five
it
minutes
was
each person.
5 minutes total. Yeah. And I had talked for like most of them.
And I was like, okay, wait, I need to ask the other people in the Zoom like what questions they have. And everybody's like, we're actually here for her. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is so amazing. This is so beautiful. Your family, you're so loved. Your family loves you so much
Yeah.
to show up like that. So that was a beautiful thing to see. So I was like, yes, let's do this.
I know you like put your arms up. You were like, yes, like this is so cool. So,
It was.
um, so one of the many things that the fandom, right, loves about you is like your bubbly personality, your zest for life. So what do you do to fill your tank? Like, what do you do to keep that positive outlook, that, keep yourself level? What do you do? What are your go-tos?
I don't know. Sometimes this question, I'm like, I mean, sleep is important. Like surrounding yourself with friends that like I could just go and have dinner with every once in a while and like kind of vent and like having those friends you can vent with. Like, our big thing kind of my circle of friends is like, do you need to vent right now or do you need advice? Like kind of like asking before those conversations happen. I think letting things out, journaling is a big one. Like sometimes I think our biggest whatever I'm trying to say, our biggest hurdles or biggest issues are like just getting stuff out of our heads. In regards to that, exhaustion wise, if that's what you're saying, it's like refill my tank. It's sleep and trying to find times to do little things, whether it's meditation or working out, like really lifts me up and like just getting a workout on. But I'm I'm a person that, which I know there's a lot of people that aren't like this. I'm very much kind of, um, like my tank gets filled by talking to people and like
Mhm.
engaging with people and like stuff like this and things with the fans. Like I really, someone like Stefania's like, you get recharged from it. And I do think that's a little bit of what, as much as it is, I should say, to like talk to so many people and try to like give as much attention as I can to everyone and like my time, like it really does, I don't know, recharge me to be able
Yeah.
to do that and to talk to people and to get to know people and inspires me and excites me. So I think that answers that.
No, it does, and that's great because so many people on Twitter they'll like worry. They'll be like, "Are we exhausting her?" Because you do, like, you stop for every person, you stop for every picture, right? And we see so many people in Hollywood who don't, who that they just keep walking, and so people are so worried that exhaust you, and they'll be like, don't tweet to her today, don't hashtag her today. We want to give her a break, because they just care. We care so much about you, so that's good to hear that you get charged from
That's
it.
so sweet. I do get
Yeah.
recharged. I think I sometimes just put too much pressure on myself. I would say the only thing I can add to like what they're saying is like, I do get like, I try so hard to be on top of everything that sometimes it's just, there's only 24 hours in a day. But
Yeah.
in regards to like talking to fans and engaging, like this is the stuff I love. If I could just sit and just talk all day
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
you and all the fans, it would be great. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Um, you've helped so many people work through difficult times in their life, just, by being who you are, being there for people, and even just watching you, evolve in your career and things like that. Is that an overwhelming feeling? You just kind of said that you feel pressure. So how do you deal with that? Like, does it get overwhelming when people come to you and say, "Oh, you helped me through A, B, and C," or "You've helped me get out of this place"? Is that a weird feeling?
It's not a weird feeling. I'm glad that something I've done has inspired somebody else. I think like if that's all I can do in this life is basically inspire other people to like be happy, embrace life, like, live positively, any of those things, like then that makes me happy to hear that. I try to say just when people say that like I'm glad to have been a part of it because I'm not all of it. It's a lot of your own work, like getting through things. It's a lot of doing the work yourself to get through things, surrounding yourself with the people, but I'm so proud I could be a part of it. So I think that's what I always like to reiterate is like, I was just a part of it, but I'm glad I could be there to help in the way that I did. Because I think if I feel the only thing maybe that makes not uncomfortable is the word, but put too much pressure is that like, I feel like not me alone could have done it. Like it really is a lot of work that person had to do to get to where they're at. And I'm just glad that like my lives or like watching my career, my character helped inspire them in some way or lift them up. So I'm happy to be a part of it. But the only part that I'm like, no, I didn't do it all. Like I don't get this like magical credit for like,
Yeah.
changing someone's life. I'm glad to be a part of it. So
And that's such a beautiful way to say that. Like I've never viewed it that way because, I shared with you briefly, I dealt with postpartum depression, and then I didn't tell you, but I was in an abusive relationship at my church actually that caused PTSD.
Oh wow.
And I've since left the church, but I was dealing with that at the same time.
Yeah.
And I told you Station 19, that was like the first thing I had to look forward to. So that
Yeah.
was a huge piece of that, right? And that's
Yep.
when I started writing my poetry, and so
Yep.
and that's how we're here at Rejoice Out
Mhm.
Loud was that. So, but
But
that's
it's a
cool to
part.
be, yeah, just cool to be able to say I was a part of that though.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
Yeah. But
awesome.
it's like, so you did so much work yourself. You stepped away from that abusive relationship. You got through the postpartum yourself. You started
Yeah,
writing poetry and like finding things. I'm just happy that I was part of it, piece of it, a little piece of it.
that's awesome. Um, so we often hear that you are like the polar opposite of Maya, right? Um, you both have strength and determination, but Maya's kind of got a really tough grit about her, right?
Yeah.
Is it exhausting to play that? And what do you do before and after emotionally? Like I know on Twitter after the roof scene, people were like, was she just exhausted? Like, did she just go home and sleep for 12 hours? Because that was such an intense scene.
Yeah.
Um, was it, or how did you prepare like to get into that? Tell us about that?
It depends on the scene. It depends on who I'm working with. It depends on the director. There are a lot of factors. When it came to the rooftop scene, I was really excited and amped up to like, you know, scenes like that are fun because you're really, I know it's hard to watch, but you're getting to play. Like me and Stefani, and I love working with Stefani. Like we're such a great partnership when it comes to like bouncing back off of each other and just instinctually acting. And so you know where your character's supposed to be, and then you kind of just they call action and you go and you feel the feelings and you act it. So that one was more probably fancy to do that. Like that one was more fun to do just
Okay.
because we got to scream and yell and we know it's all acting from our perspective. Obviously characters that are invested are like, what's going on? But that specific scene was more fun. It was exhausting after. I remember being very tired, just, throwing things and lifting things and like getting all that out. But it felt a little bit like therapy
Yeah.
to like scream and yell and know that like it's not real. Kind of felt good. But some crying scenes and things you're going to see a lot of coming up they're hard. They're hard to get into. They're hard to get out of. And like, you kind of have to prep before. Like there was one that I had to say like to everyone, like, I can't talk to anyone. I need to be in my own head all day. AirPods in, like just kind of like with myself to get in the right headspace. And then when I was done, I was like, hey, does anyone want to go out to dinner? Who wants to go to dinner with me? Who wants to like hang out? Just because you have to get out of it. But sometimes it depends. I'm doing scenes right now where I'm working with an actor and it's just able to flow. Like the verb, what you're saying, the words are just, you say them and you just start crying and you can get there emotionally. But after, yes, you're always exhausted. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like any of these scenes after, you're like, I need a nap. I'm tired. But also the actor in me always feels very much like, okay, I think I did it. I think I got there emotionally where I needed to go with this character, and I did justice to the script and the lines, and so yeah, it's this balance. But getting out of it is it can be fun sometimes. It used to be more of a challenge, but now I'm calling people up to ask for dinner, or let's go get brownies or M&Ms or something.
Yeah. Now, do you have to rehearse that like over and over and over? Is it like one rehearsal, or does it depend on how it goes? 'Cause I'm picturing like having to throw that tray like 600 times. Like, like how do the rehearsals work?
The rehearsal for that was more just blocking because when it has to be so intense, like crying and screaming scenes and like really intense scenes, the directors usually know it's more about the beats. So we do private rehearsals before where we actually do try to act it out as close as we can so we can really feel what we're going to do in the scene. And then after that, you kind of want to step away because they're going to light and it takes like, 40 minutes to an hour or something like that to even light the scene. So you just want to then mark it and kind of where you decided you wanted to go. Like I knew the beats of where I was standing on the roof and what I was grabbing and what I was picking up and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, and not until action, do you really give it your all. At least for me, every actor is a little bit different. That's me and Stefania's process when we're working together. And so you don't give it your all until that first one of rolling. And that's why sometimes you don't even you like to shoot the rehearsals because you're like, I'm so in it and I'm so ready. Let's just shoot it.
Yep.
And sometimes the first one is too extreme because you've been like building all of it up. So the first
Yeah.
one can sometimes be too intense. So you kind of want to get that one out of your system too, and then you can kind of take it back down to reality a little bit. But the tray being thrown was in the moment. Some takes
Okay.
I just put things down. Sometimes I walked away and only The one they used where I like threw it and the bowl went flying and broke. That was one take. It was
Wow.
just in the moment. And I was like, because we like to ping pong, me and Stefania, and when we're doing these scenes, and that one take got so intense that like when I was done, I was just like, ah, and like, I threw the bowl or threw the tray and the bowl went flying. And then after, I'm sure it'll be one day I would love it if the blooper reels got out, but like after they said cut, I was like, it's like I didn't usually the prop department is like we don't have another glass bowl. So like if it wasn't a prepared thing, sometimes it can throw them for a little bit of like thanks Danielle. But
Yeah.
they were great and everyone was happy with it. But yeah, that was a one take thing, the bowl and the throwing it down. So
It kind of reminded me of the when Maya got home and found out that she had talked to Chief Ross and wasn't getting it when you like when screamed into the hoodie,
yeah.
right? Like just getting that emotion out was kind of like that. So
Yeah, sometimes you have
yeah,
to, right? Just
yeah,
screaming into hoodies, pillows, in cars. Screaming is great. Talk about letting out,
yeah,
if you need to release, like screaming anywhere really helps.
right. Yeah, it does. Um, you're very adventurous. Like
Yeah.
we see pictures of you rock climbing, skiing, water skiing. What are 3 bucket list items for you?
Skydiving, for sure. Because that was my grandmother who was a big mentor to me before she passed. Like, I was like, what's the one thing that you regret? She's like, I never skydived.
Oh, okay.
So I'm scared so much to do it. I've tried a couple times and like 2 of the times it was like wind advisory. We couldn't go up. And so that doesn't help. That makes me even more scared.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, but one of these days I will have to skydive. A bucket list is to finally get my pilot's license. I've been up so many times and it's like just
Mhm.
trying to find the time to get all the hours. Um, and then the third thing, ooh, what is the third thing bucket list? I want to do, and I haven't picked where yet, but I really want to do a hike, like a mountain climb, like a crazy one. And I'm not sure which one that is yet. I know friends that have done Kilimanjaro. I know other friends that want to go to the base of Mount Whitney. And like I want to do one of those, but I know it also takes prep and time and stuff like that. But that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I just love living life. Like
yeah,
I love like exploring everything I've never seen before. And those are things that I feel like you really, up in the air and like I already scuba dive and like jumping
yeah,
from a plane and like climbing to mountains that most people don't go to. Like
yeah.
those are, yeah, 3 things that I can think of for sure.
Yeah. I can only speak for myself, but I think that's one thing, like what you just said, I love living life. I think it comes across just in everything you do. And because I remember, my mom, she didn't really understand, like when I was in a really dark place before I started coming back up,
Yeah.
she didn't understand how, like, she's like, how did a TV show and people you don't even know help you? Like, she just doesn't understand that. And, and what really helped me was actually when I started following you on social media. I fell in love with the show, but what actually helped me like want to change was following you on social media and some of the other actors in the show. And it was that zest for life, right? Just finally seeing that in someone and just realizing I wanted that too again.
Yeah.
And so your love for life definitely comes across.
Good.
So
I'm glad that that resonated with you. And like,
yeah,
good. I try to put that out there as much as, because it's pretty awesome. Like sometimes we go through tough times when it's hard to see it, but like, man, there's like a whole world to live out here.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
hippie side of me.
I'm
I'm such a hippie sometimes.
No, you're not. And I'm still realizing that, right? Like, so I'm from Michigan and we moved to Arizona for a little bit. We actually just moved to California this weekend.
No
Yeah,
way. Oh
yeah.
my
So
gosh.
I'm an hour outside of LA. So, if I don't bump into you out of the street, I'm like, it's me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats on the
So
move. That's exciting.
yeah, it's very exciting, but it kind of made me think of just wanting to live life like we're out surrounded by mountains and just wanting to go explore, right? Just like
Mhm.
see things and just get that joy for life back. So
Yeah. Sometimes
definitely.
that's all it is. Like sometimes just going outside and like going on a walk. Like I think I was told that a long time ago by a therapist I had. She's like, "How have you been getting out in nature?" And it didn't hit me until I think she said it. And I was like, "Yeah, let me try to do that more." And it was crazy. Like just walking outside can really like make a huge difference. I'll do it
Yeah,
sometimes when I go to like big cities too. I'll just be like, I need to get out of this hotel room or out of this whatever I'm in at the moment and just walk around. So
yeah, Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I'm excited for you to experience, California.
Yeah, I'm excited too because it's all new, right? Obviously coming from Michigan,
Yeah.
coming out here, it's just it's like a land of opportunity almost out here. It's just so different. There's so many different things.
Do you feel like you
So,
could have gone out in Michigan a lot too and explore, or what did you feel about when living in Michigan?
I did, but being born and raised there, I'm 35, so it's like I felt like I had seen everything, I had done everything. But it
Yeah.
also became, just kind of talk about the mental health side.
Yeah.
It became kind of a dry place for me.
Okay.
I had joined the church I was in at 12
Okay.
and left at 34. And when I left, nobody was allowed to speak to me from the church. And so that was the only
Wow.
family I had for 21 years. And my personal family is just me, my mom, my husband, and my two sons.
Hmm.
And so you take away a church of 700 people that's all I knew.
Yeah.
It's like everything was taken from me.
Yeah.
And then having the postpartum depression, trying to just get up every day, right? Which I think our society needs to focus, women's health in particular
Hmm.
needs a reform quite a bit.
Yes.
We don't talk about it because if you do, you're kind of shamed. And, so we need to empower women more. No, Danielle's not 35. I am sorry. Somebody's like, "You're
I'm
35?"
close. I'm close. I'm 34.
Yeah. But no, I don't know where I was, but,
Um, uh, 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 oh my God, wait. The last thing you just said was, about women's mental health, like just
yeah.
women's talking about postpartum depression and talking about women's health in general. And like, I do think that mental health, as you said, is such a thing that it feels like I'm lucky to be in California where it feels like, or at least Los Angeles, where it feels like it's very openly talked about. Everyone I know
Yeah.
has a therapist, and everyone I know,
Yeah.
like, we talk about our mental health and stuff like that, but you realize that outside of LA, or cities that really kind of feel more like this, like it's not really talked about. And like you said, there's always a lot of anything that's someone said, it doesn't necessarily pertain exactly to this, but it's been playing in my head over and over. And I did this film festival, and one of the women of the board and one of the curators was like, what people what people no, what people don't know they fear, and what they fear they get angry about. And I feel like that can
Yep.
kind of wrapped up in like this whole thing of like people just don't know it, so they're afraid of it, and no one wants to talk about what they're afraid of because it makes them feel uncomfortable. And I think that's the problem is, and then women feel so much shame around it. I know women that have gone through postpartum, and they still don't know fully how to talk about it or
Yep.
what exactly they were going through. So I have to say to you too, like the fact that you came from losing 700 family members essentially, which is what that was to you, and going through postpartum, and look at where you're at now, like congratulations. Like that's a
Thank you.
huge accomplishment.
Thank you. Yep. And you're right. I mean, it's to the point where we don't talk about it so much to like, it took them about 4 months to diagnose me with it.
Yeah.
And then they told me that I actually had postpartum anxiety,
Mm,
which I had never heard of before.
neither have I.
Yeah, and they said that it's actually more common than postpartum depression, but we tend to label it
Yeah.
postpartum depression. And so I had like crippling anxiety that would just come over me any moment and I couldn't control it. And so dealing with both. And then the church that I was in,
Hmm.
counseling and therapy was actually like forbidden, like you weren't allowed to do it. It was looked down on because it was like,
I've heard of
if,
this
if
before.
you have a relationship with God, that should be enough. Like you shouldn't need therapy. And so I saw a counselor for 6 years, but every time I would hear that, I would feel shamed in my church, right? Like I shouldn't be doing that. My faith isn't strong enough. I need to pray more. Because that's what it always was, is like you should pray more. And so I'm also on a journey of like refinding my faith. Like, what do I believe? Because it's like I left this place that's all I knew. And
Yeah.
so that's part of my journey too, is just like spirituality, finding out what's right for me and my beliefs. So
Yeah. You're basically reassessing all your identity. So much
yeah,
of it has changed.
yeah. One of the poems I'm going to send you
Yeah.
talks about that, about refinding my identity and stuff. So
Yeah. It sounds like you've done
um,
a great job of it though.
thank
Congrats.
you. Thank you. Um, what advice would you give someone, like if somebody came up to you right now that they were in a dark place, what advice would you give to them?
I would give a lot of tools that at least help for me. If they're in a dark place, there's some that have come to me, and if they're really, it seems like very, very, very much like in a dark place right there. I'm like, are you okay? Do you have like that worries me when it's like, are you at rock bottom? Talk to me. Like, do you have a support system? Do you need help? Like, those things would be my first, depending on the level of where they're at. If they're just mentally, you're just not there and you're depressed, like try to give tools. Like I always feel like I sound like a broken record, but I guess that's a good thing to kind of always be putting things out there, whether it's the journaling, finding things that make you happy, if that's a television show or a book, going outside, being with nature. I always try to say when people are in a good headspace to try to like write down the things that they love about themselves, you
Oh,
know, the things they're proud of when you're in a good headspace, so that when, which is hard to do because you don't, no one knows when they're going to be in a
yeah,
negative headspace. You're just in one
yeah.
and you're like, how do I get out of this? But sometimes like really writing things down that make you happy or that about, you love about yourself when it comes to self-care and self-respect and self, you know, like try to look at those, so then when you are in a dark space, look at those things and try to remember like, oh, this actually makes me happy, let me go do this, and kind of do it as like a checklist of like, can these things help? And also I say to some people, like, sit in it for a second. Like sometimes you just have to sit in it. And
Mhm.
that was like, someone gave me permission, one of my therapists gave me permission at one point. I don't have more than one, I've just over the years
You have
have
like six therapists.
yeah, I'm like, I've got five. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding, I just have one. But one had said to me, that sometimes you just have to feel it. Like she gave me permission. Like have a day where you're just like, this day sucks. I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. I'm gonna feel all the emotions, and I'm gonna promise myself that tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up and start doing all the things. Get out of bed. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed, as you know, it sounds like get out of bed, make that yummy cup of coffee, or go to my favorite coffee shop. Like do what you need to do, and then just start baby steps. And don't get upset with yourself when you don't like hit all these marks of like, these are things I was supposed to do. Like go easy on yourself. Like sometimes, at least for me, like I'm so hard on myself sometimes that it's like I just need the permission to be like, have a day and just try your best. Because that's all we're really doing, right? In life is like every single one of us is really just trying the best we can at living this thing called life.
Yep. Yeah.
So like we're gonna have tough days. Like it's, I have them. You have them. Like everyone has them. So we'd be lying to ourselves to say we don't. So yeah, those would be my things I would tell someone if they come up to me: is journal, write it. Do you have a support system? You know, find the things you love that make you happy, because everyone's different. Some people love makeup, and some people love hiking, and some people love, you know, pets. There's like, so there's also like cat cafes and dog cafes.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't have a dog and like dogs make you happy, go to a dog park. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but I think it's case by case because I don't know what makes people happy, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but trying to just find it. But if everyone that's in a good headspace today can take a piece of paper and just write down the things that make them happy, or the things they love about themselves, or things that can lift their spirits up, and write them down today while they're happy, then hopefully that piece of paper will be there when they're feeling low. So
Yeah. Well,
that'd
that's a
be,
good idea. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a good idea.
Try to be like proactive.
Mhm. Yeah, one thing I'm working on, but I've struggled with it because I've had very low self-esteem, is like daily affirmations.
Yeah.
Like looking at myself in the mirror and like, and that's another poem I'm going to send you. It's actually called Dear Future Me, where I did that. I told myself how I want to see myself in the future.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for you to see it. But
That's a beautiful one though. Like literally looking in your mirror. I've said a couple times, other times I'm like, look in the mirror and just like, it took me a long time to look in the mirror and be able to be like, I love myself. Like I
yeah,
love, this is my body. And like,
yeah,
I'm grateful to have like the body I have. And like, that takes a while.
yeah,
It's not easy to look in the mirror and talk to yourself and like have those really positive conversations. So I can't wait to
yeah.
read that one.
Thank you. I know I've actually lost 166 pounds. And I still, my mom makes fun of me because I still buy the same size clothes because I still see myself 166 pounds heavier. And so like the one where you said like I love my body is like appreciating you were strong, you worked hard, you lost that weight. Now appreciate what you see, like what's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I want to say congratulations in the sense of like, that's something you wanted to do. Like
yes,
not every,
yeah,
I also I hate the stigma of people always feeling like they have to lose weight. Like
yeah.
love your
No, it
body
was for
as it
me.
is, but
Yeah.
it sounds like that's something you wanted to do. And I'm glad that you've been able to do that for you.
Well, because I knew I wanted kids and I wanted to be able to like not be exhausted from playing with them because I was carrying around so much extra weight. And for me, it made me tired and, hurt my body. And so I wanted to be able to, just run around with them and
Yeah,
play.
that makes complete sense. And I love that you've done that.
Thank you. I know you're on a very strict time frame. We have like 2 minutes left. I wrote down a whole bunch of names of people that wanted me to say hi to you, so I'm just going to read them really
That
fast,
is
okay?
so beautiful that you're like, I'm going to spend this time to make sure that everyone else gets out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm listening.
So I'm going to read it really fast.
Okay.
Logan, and I'm supposed to tell you that he yelled it at you. I don't know why. Um, the cardboard cutout,
Logan!
the
Sorry, coach.
cardboard cutout twirlies.
What about, sorry, say it again?
Cardboard cutout twirlies. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what's all that. Lenny, Abby and Nicole, Mary, Haley from Iowa, and yes, corn season is in July. Laura, Martina, Zara, Greitz, Jeannie, Layla, Christina, Noah, Olivia, Ketlin, Sophia, Ellen, Flor, Chloe, Mariana, Charlene, Kayla, Andrea, Paulina, Carson, Stephanie, Maya, Andrea, Kasia, Mina, Charlotte, Letitia, Janessa, Denise, Rosanna, Stefania, Elena, Shadana, Joyce, Julia, Duda, Caroline, Elodie, Millie, Thurza, Lara, Disponia, Martia, Shauna, Claire, Yasmin, Isabella, Carletta, Ara, and Marlene. That was all the ones I got. I tried to write them all down,
Oh my gosh.
but they
That
all
was
went
so
to send off.
amazing
Yeah.
I thank them all. I'm I'm like trying to read the comments now to see if there's anything like, thank you for even doing that. And I'm so happy to have such an amazing
Yeah.
support system. We're all just this like positive community, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's what was so beautiful when you came to me. You're like, I'm all about positivity and mental health and positive mental health and
Yeah.
like how to, and I'm like, yeah, if we could just put more of that out into the world, let's do it. And I think this like community of people we've all talked like means so
Well,
much.
that's actually real quick. I know you have to go, but that's what actually drew me to you was, my dad left when I was 11 months old, and that created like rejection. And
Yeah.
I was looking for family in my church. And
Mhm.
it was like one of the first tweets I read from you after I left my church was, "You all are my family." And then seeing that you actually try to include everyone, like you don't just use that word, right?
Yeah.
That just like filled my heart more than you ever know. So,
Right. That
yeah.
makes me so happy. It's true. I
Yeah.
hope you feel it. I really hope you feel it. Because I do
I,
really look at this as like one big family.
yeah.
All
No,
over the
we feel
world.
it.
You
Yep.
know, everyone's connected now at this point, so it feels pretty special.
Yep.
I'm so happy you're a part of it now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for today. I know you wouldn't let me pay you, but
No,
if I could, I'd pay you millions of
no,
dollars.
absolutely not.
Thank you.
No, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this. Keep doing all the amazing work you're doing. I love your poetry, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great day, and we're so
Thank
excited for what's to come.
Same.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Mwah.